Hello, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While. It's a show in which I chat with authentic, heart centered experts about interesting topics to spark and inspire and motivate professional and personal growth. And today's conversation is worth your while if you're feeling overwhelmed by the chaos of the world and you're just unsure who or what to trust anymore. Maybe you've noticed like you have rising anxiety, there's uncertainty like about the future, about your place in the future, about how to even move forward. And as a society, we're all stuck in fear and disconnection. But you're also open to the possibility that real peace and healing don't come from the outside, they come from within. And in this episode, we're going to show you how to access that inner power and begin to feel grounded, even when the world feels anything but grounded. So I am Linda Bucher, and I have the best job in the world. Although my guest today, she might say she has the best job in the world, but I help people to get unstuck. It's my superpower, and I'm really good at it. I love empowering like high potential, multi-passionate people, because I'm one of you, to find their superpowers and get to the next level and really just get the most out of life, because that's what you're here for. And then once you do, then you can ripple into the world and make real positive differences. So I do that as a transformational speaker, as a master certified life coach, as a podcaster. So if you want to get unstuck, get to the next level, and get the most out of life, just head on over to my website, go to the freebies page. There's like 7 freebies out there, and I'm sure there's something for everybody. Okay, that's enough about me. And today I am very excited for my guest. This is so cool. I'm so excited because we're going to do something a little bit different today, but we'll tell you about that in a minute. I have the pleasure of being joined by Agne. I cannot say your last name, of Q Heal. And Agne is super interesting in how she helps people heal. It's differently than the way I do. And how she brings people to inner peace is differently than the way I do. But I'm so excited for it that I'm going to let her do it on me. It's going to be so wild. So hi, Agne. Thank you for being here. And can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be in your podcast. And I understand that the way we work is probably different, but we have a very similar mission and support people on their journey of transformation. So I use different methods. I use quantum healing as a modality, guiding people within, uncovering their beliefs, their limiting thoughts, emotions, or restrictive behaviors that prevents them from stepping into their power and really creating the world that they want to create.
Mm. So that's fantastic. I do the same thing in a different way, and I can only take people so far. So that's why what we really want to start with is there's many different modalities, and they each have a place in helping us find our own way, right? Because it's our responsibility to find our own way. So, your first stop might be your best friend, right? You're calling your best friend, like, I don't know what to do, right? And they know you, they can see parts of you can't even see yourself, right? So they can help you through certain things, but that can only take you so far. Then maybe you go and see a coach, someone like me, where I'm also helping you disbelieve that stinking thinking and discover who you are and see yourself differently and release those beliefs that are limiting that you're aware of. That's the key, right? I help you become aware of some of them, but there's some I can't help you become aware. There's also a role for therapists when you have, a diagnosable condition of some type that a coach could not, like, I'm not qualified to help you with, right? But then there's a whole nother level, right? Agne, can you talk about that?
So in my work, I help people to recognize the connection between their mind, body, and soul, and understand the communication between those elements. And yes, there is a lot of work that can be done at the conscious level, but very often we hold those unuseful patterns at deep subconscious level. And sometimes it's hard to recognize the patterns for yourself that are maybe even anchored in your childhood memories. or any experiences that were significant, that shapes your self-identity, the way you see the world and all the elements. I work on the whole system. I rarely address specific problem. We work on the whole human operating system. That's how I like to call that.
That's amazing, because if you can heal the whole system, it's all going to work together way better, body, mind, and soul, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, they, what they've tried hasn't worked because they weren't addressing it as a whole. You're addressing just your physical symptoms or just your emotional symptoms, right? Never even recognizing how powerful that we are inside, the power we have to heal ourselves. So this is such a fascinating topic. So can you tell us a little bit about how it's rooted in science? Because we're going to have some skeptics listening, like, what? You say quantum healing, and they're like, okay, whatever, right? So let's talk about how it's rooted in science.
Yes. So a lot of my processes are anchored in behavior psychology, neuroscience, and how the brain is processing the information. And I'm very often observing your eye movement in the conversation to see how your brain is accessing certain type of information, and like to determine whether it's aligned, or there are some blockages that your eyes are not even moving to those areas. It's a whole technical piece, but I like to use the model to describe our human operating system as we have 5 bodies. So the physical body, mental body, our thoughts, beliefs, and emotional body, like all the emotions that we are experiencing in the moment, and those that are stuck based on the past experiences. Energy body, which many might be familiar with chakra system, and your spiritual body. And these 5 elements, they are not like separate, they are entangled and interconnected, but it helps to understand the concept to just, separate them. And like human physiology, you can analyze the cardiovascular system, nervous system, muscular system, right?
Oh, yeah.
So those blockages can be anchored at any level, whether it's physical, emotional, energetic. What quantum healing helps to achieve really is to access and to connect the dots. Where is the core element of your problem? Because very often people come with the problem and they don't know where the root of it is, right? And mentally it's hard to know, or consciously it's hard to know, because it's possibly somewhere in your body. So I'm asking specific questions and pulling that information based on their responses in the moment.
All right. So this is probably new to lots of people. So I'm going to be your guinea pig, which I've not done before on the podcast. But I'm going to let you, let you do your thing so people can experience, like, okay, what is this like? Because I think then people, all our listeners might be like, oh, that's what oh my gosh. Okay. That's fascinating. I get it. Then if they want it, they can reach out to you. Okay. So I'm ready to be your guinea pig. Go.
Okay. So usually I like to address some uncomfortable feelings or something that you're aware, the problem that you're aware of. And if you can share with me something that comes up for you that you would like to address, I will guide you through very simple and short process, not going too deep. We don't have enough time for that, but just to demonstrate the process and also bring more information to your conscious awareness.
Okay. All right. So, so I have this lovely, wonderful program that I absolutely love giving. And it's like 6 months of working with people in their 20s in a group mentorship. And we meet a couple times a month, and I teach them life navigation skills. I teach them how to adult in a way that is not the way their parents are doing it. And it just lights me up. I love it. But to introduce the program, see, there's my butt, first of all. So you probably caught that. To introduce that program, what I do first is I give a webinar and I share with them why adulting is so hard, or their parents, if their parents come on. And I share the differences generationally, and I share that the path the parents took is not the path to discovery. The path to discovery is what I take them through when their parents come to me in their 40s and 50s, right? And they're like, okay, now what? Right? So I take them through that path. So I want to share that path with the 20 somethings. But knowing that this webinar is going to be an introduction to the program, which is, the webinar is free, but the program is not. It's inexpensive, but it's not free. Mm-hmm. It anytime I feel like I have to sell something, which is not me, I feel this discordance. I feel it like physically. I feel like the yuck. I find myself like thinking in the middle of the night about how many registrations do I have for the webinar? Am I going to be able to convert? Like all this stuff, which is not me, because I just want to share and be generous like I always am, and just believe that the universe is going to have the right people show up to the webinar and the right people, get into the program. But at the other side, as a business owner, I also want to kind of create something that works, that consistently works. Right. So I do it. It feels good and it works and it brings people to me so I can give my gift to them.
I so resonate with this, what you are sharing, really, because I think we share the same human design, the projector type. And we are like visionaries. We are showing the way, and the world that we live in is very much built for generators, those who are doing, pushing things, and that doesn't feel aligned, right?
No.
But again, selling is a concept in your mind internally that has certain representation through 5 of your senses. So even the word itself, selling, will have a visual expression. It will have certain feeling that it triggers in your body. It will probably have a sound, like some kind of internal dialogue, what it means, and maybe even taste and smell, because we perceive the world through 5 senses. So what I want to explore is what this word selling means for you internally. It might not be logical. It doesn't have to make sense, but somehow in your programming, it's anchored in a certain way that might be conflicting with other beliefs potentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I will invite you to just close your eyes and focus within and notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy or the resource of selling. Notice what comes to your awareness when I say the word selling.
Pushback, like physical pushback, pushing me physically in my chest and my face.
Very well. Does that pushback have a visual expression? Who is or what is pushing back? Can you notice that?
It's like a hard wall, like a slab of concrete or something.
Very well. What color is that wall or the concrete? Does it have a color?
Gray, like a light gray.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there any sound that you can notice when you focus on that wall that is pushing back?
No.
All right. So I want you to thank that wall, the concrete wall, for expressing itself as a gray color and having that feeling, that sensation of pushing back. Thank it and notice what happens, if anything changes.
Yeah, it's not pushing so hard.
That's right. Very well. Thank it for no longer pushing so hard. And notice what happens next.
Yeah, I don't feel it pressing.
Very well. Is it still in front of you? Can you still see it?
It's shorter.
Okay, very
Only
well.
like this high now. It's not on my
Yeah,
face
perfect. Thank it for becoming shorter.
anymore.
Notice what happens next.
It keeps getting smaller.
That's right. That's what it's supposed to be. Just thank it for getting smaller and smaller. It disappears. What is beyond that wall? What's on the horizon? What's available beyond the wall?
Um, it's just wide open space. That's
Mhm.
don't really see a thing.
Okay. How does it feel when you see the open space?
Um, it doesn't feel inviting, but it doesn't feel like I shouldn't go into it either. It just feels like it's just there. It
Mhm.
doesn't, yeah, it's not inviting.
All right. Thank it for not yet being invited. Is there any resistance? Is there any block?
Yeah, I still feel something like the wall is small, but I feel something stopping me from stepping over it
Okay. Where do you feel that in your body?
here. My,
If that feeling in your chest had a color, what color would that be? That's the first thought that you can
first thought was
notice.
purple, which is my favorite color.
All right. Thank it for coming up as purple. And notice what happens. Maybe the color changes.
I don't really sense it um, being any different color.
Okay. If that feeling in your chest had a message to deliver, what would it say?
It would say, I don't want to be here either.
Very well. Thank it for letting you know that it doesn't want to be there either. But ask, what is the purpose of it being there right now? What's the intention? Because every feeling has a positive intent.
Um, I'm here to let you know when you're not in alignment with your true self.
Beautiful. So just recognize that intention. This feeling is guiding you and letting you know when you're not in alignment. It's such an important mission. Just thank it and acknowledge the significance of it being there. It's simply a guidance system. And for now, I would like you to return back to the room and allow your eyes to open when you're ready. We can go deeper, but it would take time.
Yeah.
And so I believe that this was significant for you to realize that that feeling, that icky feeling when you need to sell is not like showing you that is not in alignment, that activity is not in alignment somehow. So maybe there is a different way to do that, or or maybe there are other things that we can uncover at the subconscious level to create more alignment for you
Right. I think it's,
to activate.
you know, like my interpretation of sales, which is
Yes,
um, um, tra- traditionally in some places it's pushy, in other places it feels manipulative, and it's just been a turnoff. And that's I'm not a pushy person or a manipulative person, and so
exactly.
shifting to not selling, but perhaps just offering that I'm here.
Informing. I
Inform.
realize that I think, yeah, we need to inform what we do, who we are,
Mhm.
but then people need to invite us to
Right.
really support them, right?
Exactly.
That's the strategy, waiting for the invitation.
Okay. So maybe if I can think of this webinar as just informing and welcoming them,
Yeah.
if you know,
Mhm.
not even offer, because offer still feels like it's out of alignment.
Right. It's still attached to that idea of manipulation.
Right. Not as strongly as selling, but yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, this was really good because I'm giving the webinar in 2 days, and thinking about it is just informing. That's it. Just informing.
Yes. Reframing really what it means for you.
Okay, I'm making notes. Thank
Beautiful.
it. I would like to just share with the audience that that it started as a big heavy press, like on my face, on my chest, like on my belly, like everything's pressing in, and then it released the pressure, just thanking it, paying attention to it, awareness, right? And as I really thought it was cool to have me keep thanking it. Like there is always a gift in something. I get that as a coach, and I do use that. We call it a metaphor tool. When you're like, what's the message? What's the purpose? Like I use that in my coaching as well. That same type of tool. But this was a little different application of it, and with the thanking. And just bring it to your awareness. It is interesting that when you allow your emotions to be present, because they're always benevolent messengers, like that's, you allow them to be present, how they just say, like, okay, thank you, I can go now. you know?
Yes, because you know what happens when those uncomfortable emotions they get stuck in our system in those situations, probably early on in the childhood, where it wasn't safe to process and release that emotion, to feel that emotion, where we were judged. So right now, when you tap into that emotion with no judgment and gratitude acknowledgement, it begins to flow through your system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really kind of, it's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
thank you for being open to, do the process.
I'm one of those people who, in anything, so there's any volunteers, I'm like, I'll, you know,
Yeah.
I'm adventurous that way. Like I'll try it, and it's not just adventurous. Like I love to expand. And so for our listeners here who are also what I will call conscious expanders, because everyone's growing and learning and, but some of us are like doing it on purpose. We are consciously expanding. We want to know more, do more, be more, have more impact, right? So
Yes.
those of us are like, oh, yeah. Okay, Agnes, that was really cool. Thank you very much for taking me through that. This is like really timely because, like I said, this webinar is in 2 days. Um, okay, so let's just go to the like the most important thing you would like to share.
I think my core message would be to let people know, to inform that you are powerful beyond your belief. And you have all the resources that you need inside of you. It's just to find a way to tap into those resources and to step into your power and release what's blocking, what's no longer serving you. And when every person takes responsibility for living this way, I think we can create completely different worlds altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say that, happiness is an inside job. You have to take responsibility. When you feel out of control, it's probably because you're trying to control something that's not actually in your control. So we want to take responsibility for our own happiness and our own inner peace. And when we become aware that, like what you shared, of our emotions, right? And we recognize the gift in them, the message that they're trying to bring to us, then the more we do that, which is a going within, the more we can start to trust ourselves, the more we can start to know ourselves, right? And when we do that, when we can move through life with more of this sense of inner peace, then that's how we can help to heal the world, because it starts with us, right? So the more people that can understand and become aware of, this small process, which is significant, yet not hard, not difficult, small process. The more people that become aware, but the more people that are actively trying, like not intending, I don't like the word trying, let's say intending, actively intending to heal, to find that peace, to become in alignment with who they truly are, then this is the best way to move through the world. And this is the way that you actually make those ripples. This is the way that you help heal the world. Right?
That's right. That's right.
So
sometimes we seek for that purpose. That was my journey. Like for decades, I was like, who am I? What's my mission? And to come to a realization that my job is to heal myself and to show up authentically in the world. And that's enough.
right.
That's all I need to do. Great, I can support others on that journey, but it's all in the work. And when we all take responsibility for that, then the magic happens.
It's really true. It's really true. Yeah, I believe that we all came here for something personal, right? And the journey that we go through is something that we can be of through that we can be of service to other people if we're open
Yes.
to allowing it to happen. And it's really a kind of a death and rebirth, right? A death of
many of them
supposed to be, and how we thought we were supposed to be moving through life, and an allowing of that inner knowing of knowing yourself, knowing you're total bazillion percent worthy. That's like the base of it, right? And when you know that and you feel that, then you stop wasting energy on the outside of what other people think and what I got to do to manipulate how they think of me, right? And and you just keep expanding and being this, not just an example. It's not only cerebral. It's when you walk through life the way you feel and the way I feel most of the time. Other people recognize it. They're like, "Oh man, that's so awesome! How come you're smiling all the time?" And
it
even
gives them permission to explore, for themselves.
right, like how'd you do that? I took responsibility for my own happiness and for my own, anger, my own sadness, and my own grief, and my own and everything. All of that, I took responsibility for it, and then I dealt with it. I dealt with it the way it needs to be dealt with, because there is different ways to deal with pain. Some of it's clean pain, and some of it's dirty pain, and you cannot deal with them the same way. It doesn't work, and then just making it like an automatic habit. Like when you're like, oh my God, this works. Then you just do it over and over every day. And one of my favorite things to do on purpose is gratitude.
Mhm.
And not just the cerebral. I'm grateful for this and that and this and that. But while I'm making my list mentally or writing it down or whatever, to feel the joy of it, the actual feeling. And then that feeling just comes with you all day long. It's like you got it, you know? So,
Yes,
yeah.
the power of gratitude. Yeah, it's a core principle of quantum healing too.
Yeah. So I think what's new for people from this conversation might be that they don't recognize healing can happen on another level. And it's by, this um, connecting to another part of yourself, right?
Yes.
Which speaks through your physical body. That's what people don't recognize. Like in my coaching, what I've learned, we call it the essential self versus the social self. And the essential self can only speak to you through your body and actually through your dreams. So it's not all that, like, it's not like right there, right? Where your social self is the logical part of you. It speaks to you in your thoughts. Like,
Mhm.
first we got to do this, then we got to do that, right? But it's your essential self is your GPS. It's your inner navigation system, and your social self is your race car to get you there. So we've got to be more in touch. We lose touch with that essential self. We lose touch with that. And if we can go into our bodies, we can connect with that. And that is our essential self is our higher self. It's that soul. It's that part that's always been there, regardless of what incarnation we're in this world, right?
Yes, it is that, higher level of consciousness that we tap into when we allow that to flow through us and when we are aware.
Yeah. And I feel
Mhm.
that higher level consciousness when I'm feeling gratitude too. Feels like it's coming to me and through me.
Yes,
you know?
yes, gratitude is the bridge, really,
Yeah.
to experience that.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Agna, this has been such a fascinating conversation. Thank you for taking me through that and letting me be your little example for today. Um, so is
Mhm.
there, like if someone's like, I would love to, get in touch with my higher self and be healed at this more quantum level, maybe someone who's tried a therapist, they've tried a coach, they've tried their physical doctor, and they're like, it's still not better. And they're ready and open for this next level of healing. Like what would you say they can do?
So, what they can do really internally, I think the core principle and the most important piece is to become aware. Become aware of your thoughts, your emotions, and your body signals. Because every little pain, every itchy nose means something. And if you really tune into those experiences and observe yourself from the third person perspective, like you're not your thoughts, you are experiencing your thoughts. Observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, what's happening for you. That will lead you to what are the patterns. And if you need support, I'm here, and you can always reach out. I think we can share my website is qheal.life. I offer a short introduction conversation, not selling, not pushing anything,
I know.
just sharing what's possible, really, and probably other people's stories who achieved great things through their journeys.
Beautiful. Well, I highly encourage our listeners to reach out to you because I know you're not a selly kind of person. um, and because I'm sure people have some questions. We've just opened up something new for many people today. And so when we open something new, the first people want is a little more knowledge. Like, because knowledge combats fear, right? So let me
Right.
learn a little bit more. They're not obligated to do anything, but just the
That's right.
awareness that there's another way can, like, bring a giant sense of relief, right? If anyone's been struggling with something, kind of big. So yeah.
For sure. For sure. I like to also sometimes run workshops where I teach the principles and for people to understand how this works. So, to release the fear or resistances. So there is a lot of information if you want to dig deeper on my website.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that is, say qheal.life,
Heal.life. Mm-hmm.
qheal.life. Gotcha. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, Agna, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Thank you too. It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, I will put your contact information into the show notes so that people can, just see what that is and get there from the show notes. And everyone, that is our show. Once again, I'm Linda Bucher on a mission to inspire and impact millions of people to know their worth, to share their gifts, deliberately creating big, beautiful ripples in this world. And so I am not going to sell you anything on my website. That's why that's all freebies. Pretty much, not all, but most. But I teach, I inform. It's what I love to do. And so if you would like to learn about how to get unstuck, to get to the next level and get the most out of life, head on over to my website and see what you find, see what nudges and niggles at you, and then just do that one thing, whatever it is. And until next time, make sure you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.